you doing, you guys? I'm going to start a separate video. If you have ear pods in, briefly take them out. That's why. Hey there, friends. Here to do a quick video for all of you. And I really didn't know how to shoot this video. I want to be as organic as possible during this video. And I really want to share with you guys a story that I share with a lot of my female clients that is very personal and very, very, very true. I'm going to need a little drink of water for this. I'm going to scoot my chair over just a little bit. Sorry. So, a few years ago, and this wasn't long ago, it's been longer than like a year and a half, but this wasn't long ago. I really hit rock bottom. And when I say hit rock bottom, I mean I hit rock bottom so hard emotionally, physically, energetically, and financially. I had went through, I wouldn't even call it a breakup. I would call it just a complete split. Like, you're together, you're not, right? And I, like so many of you, have water in my chart, but I have heavy water. My chart is about 90% water. So those of you who are going to be watching this on my other YouTube channel, Andrea Cox TV, I'm actually on The Detox Intuitive, which is the business that was born out of my rock bottom, hitting rock bottom. So what happened was I went through a breakup. It was mutual. We were awful to each other. I mean, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't wanna get into it. He said, she said, this happened, that happened. We spoke awful to each other. There was a lot of passion. We really, I think there was a lot of passion, like a lot of passion. Like passion, you know, the like lock yourself in a cave in a different country kind of passion. Yeah. And close out the rest of the world kind of passion. It's kind of like that. But, you know, when that passion fades or when it's sabotaged purposely, stuff fades, right? So that ended. I got really depressed. I have lived in this beautiful home for 6 years. There are 3 bedrooms upstairs. And I barricaded myself in this little downstairs bedroom. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm sharing this with all of you to try to explain what I went through to try to help all of you. So I barricaded myself in this little bedroom. It had a little twin bed in it. And every night around like 10 o'clock, on the nights I could sleep, I would go crash in that bedroom. The little dogs would crash on the day bed next to it. And the next day, it would be hard to get up. I wasn't running my retreats. I wasn't running my business properly. I let go of everything. And I had let go of a lot of business dealings when I was in this relationship because the relationship was very codependent. It was very, very codependent. I remember one time, the first year of the relationship, a really famous singer, I'll just say it. It was Frank Sinatra's grandson or something had contacted me. He wanted to bring some friends to a retreat. And my partner was like, no, I want you to spend the holidays with my family. And that's how in love I was. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go spend it with this family. Like that was a great opportunity that I passed on because I was just wanting to kind of throw myself into this relationship. The relationship lasted 4 years. Nothing was a waste. We both learned a lot of lessons. Moving on. What happened was it became very codependent. And by the time this relationship was over and I hit rock bottom, I didn't have anything. It was so bad. And this is what I share with my clients. And this is what I'm sharing with all of you today. And I might start crying. I don't want to start crying. So I'm going to try to stay composed. It got so bad that afterwards there was a time where, oh God, I don't even want to go here. Ooh, eek. Mm. It just got really, really tough. It was really tough financially. I knew because I was thinking about doing this and I knew I was like, I know I'm going to have something there. It got so bad that at one point, like the water got shut off. And that had never happened. And I know a lot of you watching this right now who have like gone through divorces and things like that have gone through the same thing. And codependency is something that runs in families. Oftentimes, if you're in a codependent partnership, there's a codependent relationship on one or both sides that kind of follows a pattern. You know, someone could be codependent with a parent. They could not even be cognizant of it, right? Real needy with a parent. Someone could be codependent with a child, right? Can be cognizant of it, but be getting like just completely used and abused by a child, you know, that's overstepping boundaries. Someone can be codependent with sisters and brothers, anything like that. I was clearly in a codependent situation. And you don't really see it until you step outside of it. And I think he recognized it first. And I really value him for recognizing it first. And although I can definitely say this ended really ugly, really ugly, but a big part of the lesson I learned was to shift my pain and transmute my pain into a business. Now, I've been in the health industry. Those of you who don't know, I'm a detox specialist by trade. I'm actually very well known in the health industry. And I moved out of my mother's house when I was 17. I've been on my own since I was 17. I had never been in a codependent dynamic prior. I was in a relationship for 10 years, very young, and we built a house together and were engaged, but we both worked. I was modeling at Saks Fifth Avenue. It was very equal. And that's what I value, and that's what I love, and that's what I want in my life now. It's fine for a man to buy you gifts. It's fine to, you know, for a man to treat you to jewelry or to give you flowers or what have you. But codependency is, I never want to have to depend on someone again for anything. When I moved to Southern California, and I've said this before, I had close to $2 million in the bank and I blew it. I fucked around. I didn't focus. I really didn't know what my path was at that time. I was young and I just kind of like wanted to explore. And now that I know what my path is, and my path is getting clearer and clearer and clearer each day, I really feel like I have a gift of helping each and every one of you, especially the women, especially, who are in codynamic. I keep calling it codynamic, don't I? Codependent, probably because I loathe the name codependent, that word, so much. Who are in codependent situations and feel kind of trapped by your circumstance. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers. I happen to be in love with the person I was with. There was no, like, I was really in love with this person. But seeing now from an above perspective, and I'm sure he's learned, I'm sure I've learned, I'm positive I've learned, the weakening of like my self-esteem and my spirit, because when you're in a codependent situation, there's usually one person that's a little kind of abusive in the situation because they hold the power, because they know you depend on them, right? And there's different types of codependency. Some people could have low self-esteem and they could be codependent on you because, you know, you shine a bright light on them and put them up on a pedestal. I definitely did that. I did that publicly. And I felt like on certain days, I felt like this person deserved it. You know, I mean, I had a lot of fun. This person was exciting to me. And I have no regrets. I have zero regrets, zero regrets. I actually regret a past situation prior much more. I would never regret that situation. It was codependent. It was both of our faults, and that was it. But in November of 2018, November alone, and I'm not saying this to boast or anything, because I actually believe in keeping this type of thing quiet. I'm learning more and more. But I grossed 30 grand just from my tarot business. Now, I'm not saying go out and start a tarot business, but what I am, or that might be your calling. What I am saying is when you put the effort into something and you really, really, really put the effort into something, you can get out of a situation. Now, have I had help since that relationship ended? Of course. I've had people step in. I've had, I mean, in the beginning, you know, the water was shut off. Who did I call? Of course, I turned to him. Have I had other people that have helped me along the way prior to that relationship? Of course. I'm an attractive female, and that's very common, especially out here in Southern California. It is. But I have learned so much from this dynamic. I have learned so much about the Six of Pentacles card, the balance in giving and receiving. And also the balance in giving and receiving when it comes to affection and love and opening your heart. So what I mean by that is in a codependent situation, you know, say one person is providing for you. Oftentimes the other person is providing the love, the compassion, the care, the heart-centeredness, the nurturing of the relationship. Well, the one that's providing is usually so worn out from providing that they're not giving at all emotionally. So, you know, one can become needy, one can become pissed off. And then if those things aren't communicated clearly, the whole thing goes to shit. And then you wake up one day and someone's angry at you all the time. And then, you know, your clientele has whittled down to very little. And then it's like, where do I go from there, right? So what I want to do is I want to create, I talked about this the other day, I want to create a video series. I think instead of putting it on Patreon, because I'm just now opening up Patreon platform that I built, instead of putting it on Patreon, I want to do it just on Vimeo, where I upload the videos. It'll be password protected. It'll be 3 videos. And I want to make it a price point that everyone can afford. And I personally think everyone can come up with 97 bucks. I do. I think everybody can come up with 97 bucks. And if you can't, you have someone around you, a parent or something that will help you out with it. But I want to go through step by step what I did to first heal myself. So the first video will be all about healing, because you can't help others unless you heal yourself. What I did to build the business, who I brought in one person only. The guy lives in New York now. He did live in Encinitas. I call him my WordPress guy. He's just an amazing guy. He's the one that built my website. He's the one, maybe you guys might want to use him. He's a great guy. He was very reasonably priced. We were learning together. He was just a great guy. Said, I just want a simple moon because I'm a moon sign as my logo, and I just wanted this and this and that. But I'm finding when I do readings for women that there is a Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Um, I find the more readings I do for women, I'm finding that more women feel trapped in their situation. And a lot of you guys have kids, and I don't. And so I was like blessed to at least not have children to have to take care of. And also, and God, I can't believe I'm saying this, I'm not a drinker at all, but sometimes I like wish this was vodka or something. It's water. Also, and I'm joking, codependency runs in families. So codependent dynamics actually run in families. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, you could have a sibling or a parent or something like that that was also in a codependent scenario, or you could have seen codependency growing up. It's not something that single-handedly, like, you choose to fall into, right? So this is really, really, really important to become self-sufficient on your own before you can have a stable relationship with anyone. Now, if you're already married and your husband brings home the bacon, that's fine. And, I think it's different. Thank you so much, Kimberly. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you very much. And, Kimberly sending me this reminds me of another time while I was building my business, and I don't want to cry when I say this, and I probably am. When I needed to start a different bank account, I was banking with Bank of America, which sucks. And I wanted to start a Wells Fargo account to get my Patreon money to come in. And I mean, it was so bad, you guys. I don't even want to tell you how bad it was. It was so incredibly bad. And this was probably 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So 9 years ago, I moved here, 2 million in the bank, lived off of it, stretched it out, screwed off, Then I built a business, met a marketer, and he taught me a lot, and went off, did well. It was a little bit of a struggle because I was on my own and I had blown my money. But moved in here 6 years ago, was taking care of myself, got into a relationship, and within 6 months of that relationship starting, I would say I was probably working 1/3 of what I was working. I became really lazy. And I do think there was an underlying kind of push for me to become lazy on his end too, because I think there was definitely kind of a love bombing thing with lots of gifts and travel and flowers every day for a very long time, things like that, So I think it was kind of something that he was used to creating as well. So I think we probably, I don't want to speak for him, he doesn't watch these, so it's fine. I think we probably realize it at this point, what was going on. And it's pretty obvious that both of us were like, oh, we're guilty. But there was love there. There was definitely love there. It wasn't like one of these Anna Nicole Smith things, you know what I mean? There was some serious love there, at least on my end. I don't want to speak on his behalf. And again, no regrets here. But I learned so much, and being away from that dynamic, there also was, which is common in codependency, there was some pretty harsh, abusive things said and done on both ends. So, but see, you become where you're like, oh, I need this person. So you don't have the power or the backbone to be able to say, fuck you. This does not work for me. This does not work for me. So even though I loved him, there were several times I wanted it to be over because he was being a dick, and I wanted it to be over. I wanted to walk, and I didn't because of this. So I want to be honest and authentic when I say that. And that's important. And that's what I don't want Or if you're already going through this, this is what needs to end. So this is what needs to end. If you are in a dynamic and you're not being treated well, right? If you're in a dynamic saying you have kids and you know there's like abuse going on and you want it to be over, but you can't because he pays the bills, that needs to end. That needs to end. You need to ask for help, and that needs to end. Or if you're in a situation where, you know, I mean, I've got to be honest with you guys. I have friends that live in Newport Beach that I don't really hang around with very much because that's their whole lifestyle. They've built their whole lifestyle on that dynamic, and that's just not a dynamic I want in my life. I really want an equal balance of giving and receiving in every sense of the word. I want someone who's emotionally open and able to give, and I want someone who does bring home the bacon, but I also want to be able to contribute. And so, that being said, I want to do a 3-part video series. I'm going to upload it in Vimeo. It is $97. I'm going to put 2 ways for you to pay in the link below this video. This is very unscripted, you guys, so I'm probably going to replay this back and delete it. But I wanted to be honest with you. I mean, you know, you guys, I'm not like living high on the hog or anything, probably because I choose to live in this expensive house. But you know, I just had mulch delivered, you know, and it's dumped in my driveway. And like I had a colonic this morning, and you know, I buy myself pretty things, and I'm able to live and afford a lifestyle. I went grocery shopping at, you know, Jimbo's and got myself flowers today. And like, those are like, that's a lifestyle. Like I'm super happy living, being able to support myself to a level that I've always been accustomed to, always been able to go to the grocery store and drop $350 and not think a thing about it. That's a level I'm accustomed to. So me sharing this, and you shouldn't have to bargain on food. Food's expensive, especially organic and vegan food. And so you shouldn't, and I'm vegan, and I believe we should all eat that way. So you shouldn't have to struggle there. But and I'm not saying you shouldn't accept help, because I definitely have accepted help, and I'm not going to act like I haven't. But I will tell you what, the last year and a half, especially, like I was going through my PayPal today and looking at it, I was just like, wow, you really, good job. You know, I was like, good job. And so today I had a moment, and this is why I'm putting this video out there. I had a moment, I paid a bunch of bills, like a stack of bills. And some of them were really old and needed taken care of. And I got my legal paperwork in from LegalZoom the other day, where I had something copyrighted. I had both my websites, all the content on it copyrighted, and the YouTube, any video where all this stuff copyrighted. And I was thinking to myself, okay, money's getting a little low. You got to really step it up. And for a moment, a very little, probably about an hour, I really had that fear come back up in me. And scared money doesn't make money, honey. And so I had to like eliminate that fear right away. I was like, where is this fear coming from? You don't live a fear-based lifestyle. This is ridiculous. Come on, you've ridden on private jets. You've done this, you've done that. You drive a Mercedes. You don't need to live in a fear-based, you know, just because you don't have a husband next to you or whatever. You don't need to think that anymore. You've seen what you're capable of. And so I want to teach you to have that same confidence in yourself. And I'm going to show you guys that not only can you do it, but you can do it the right way. Because I didn't do it the right way the first time. I didn't do it the right way. And this time I did it the right way. And I'm starting to see the shift of having everything aligned and everything set up properly. And I still need help. Trust me, I need to hire someone that is highly organized. I see this now. But 2 weeks ago, I got offered a contract by a national company, and that starts in January. So that's going to be amazing. And that's going to really help my health brand. So that's going to bring in a lot of money for me. So now I know that I'm just a short way away from really, really, laying my head down at night and just not having to worry about anything. And that's key. And in order to be in a relationship, you really need that peace. And there's nothing wrong with getting help from people or anything like that, especially if you are in a solid, committed relationship with someone. But there's a fine line between codependency and reciprocity. So, and if you are a mother and you're married and you have 3 kids and you keep a clean house and you are raising the children and you are homeschooling the kids and you are cooking the meals from scratch, then yeah, it's fine for a guy to bring home all the money, and it's absolutely fine. No one loves being taken care of more than me. No one loves cooking food and preparing healthy meals and things like that more than me. But you should still pull your own weight in some capacity, in my opinion, in some capacity, And I'm seeing that there is a fine line. I've done it all for the past year. Like I've done it all. Like I've been Superwoman, and I really want to lay the Superwoman cape down, and like relax and take a vacation. But for me, this period of time in my life was so very important to prove to myself once again of my manifesting powers and the power of belief that my ancestors worked through me to clear up family history of ancestral karma of any codependency or anything like that. So I wanted to share this with you guys, and I hope that it resonates with you. I'm going to put the links below. It is 97. Please don't send me an email with your story and try to work me, because it's not going to happen. I can't be worked. And that happens, and I understand. But if you don't have the power to manifest 97, maybe you shouldn't be on this channel, because I think we all have that power in us. Links will come out 1 week, 1 week, 1 week, starting today. And that's it, and that's all. The first one will be about healing, detaching, if that's what you need to do, healing family issues, healing ancestral karma issues, talking about ancestral karma. The second one will be building blocks, and like on a daily basis, how to get your routine in order. I had to completely switch my routine. I used to go to the gym first thing in the morning, and I realized that was not working for me. Like I do that twice a week now. I had to make my work a priority, and actually the person that I was in the co-dynamic, what is that? Codependent relationship with, he had a really good work ethic. So seeing that was my lesson to put work first. And he has a fine attention to detail too. So that's important. I don't have a fine attention to detail. I'm very like, okay, here, there's 20 misspelled words, that's why I need help, but most creative people are not good business people. They're not. And most great business people aren't, the best creatively. They kind of hamper their creativity. That's why those two opposites melt so good together when they do come together in a work situation. But I just wanted to share this with you. I do. I want to share this with you because if I can go from having water shut off 1 year to bringing in, having a month of 30,000, and then the second month was good, to having that type of income come in, then so can you. Because I have so many clients. I was telling a client a few weeks ago, she's a healer, and I'm like, I feel like you are really good at healing animals. And she was like, yeah, I need to do something. And she has kids and everything. I said, yeah, you need to get a sign for on your car, and you need to like drag it around. Like, you're an animal healer. Like, you're, you work with crystals. You're this. She's a Scorpio. Beautiful, beautiful girl. She'll probably see this. And I hope, I'm not going to say your name, but I hope that you did get the sign for your car. I was like sending her screenshots of signs that night. And the next day I was like, did you get the sign? So I feel like I have a real knack for helping women get up and out of certain types of dynamics that they feel stuck in. And look, I didn't feel, well, yeah, I did. I think we both felt stuck. We both felt trapped and stuck. And that's not a good place to be. So on that note, boy, that Aquarius full moon, that sure did clean some stuff out, didn't it? So, and again, no regrets at all. I generally don't have regrets unless it has to do with, like, stealing of ideas or something. I don't like that crap, but no regrets from this this past situation. Glad that dynamic, that codependent dynamic, is broken. And every once in a while I'll have a scared moment, right? Where I'm like super scared and I want to just like, had one. I just told you guys I had one recently, and where I just want to be like, and go, and then it passes, and I realize, you know what, you can do that, and you can do that, and yes, you can order that new couch, and yes, you can save, $3 to $4 grand this month, and yes, you can do this, and you can do that. So, excuse me, one moment. Shh. There you go. Good boy. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Okay, you guys. So that's the end of the video. This isn't very salesy, so I'll leave this up for 24 hours. First video is already done and is uploading now. So I think it's looks to be 40% done, and that's it, and that's all. And second video will come out next week. Third video will come out after that. Also, I've opened the Detox Intuitive on Patreon, so I'll start sharing that link in the description box below too. I want to thank each and every one of you for, wow, this has a lot of likes. You guys are in agreement with this. I bet a lot of men are in agreement with this too, because honestly, now my eye's watering because my hair is on my face, so this isn't like tears. This is actually hair and face. Hair and face and dog and face and all that stuff for Chia Pet hair problems. But I wanted to say, and I know this is a very unorganized video, and I'm sure someone's critiquing how I can just hear people now, I can hear in the marketing world, that is the worst stuff. But I wanted you guys to be able to relate to this. I think a lot of men could probably relate to it as well, because I think a lot of men get confused and they're like, who is truly for me and who is not for me, right? If a man is spending, if he is providing everything for a woman, it's very easy for him to feel used and abused, just like if a woman is getting screamed at, bitched at, called names by someone, but she's sticking around, And so it can turn any beautiful love story into a nightmare symphony, right? So we want to let go of all of that, let go of the pain, let go of the anger, let go of the sadness. And we want to recognize where, as men, we need to change and stop showing up with the wallet first, right? Learning to say no, right? Learning to say no. Learning to communicate clearly and effectively when something is bothering us. Learning to say, you know what, I absolutely love you, but yeah, you gotta get it together or something, you know, or I'm sorry I created this dynamic between us that's throughout my family, and now I'm repeating it with you, my lover, but we gotta do something. And as women, we have to step up and woman up and recognize when, okay, say you do have 3 kids at home, right? When the floors need to be cleaned, right? When the beds need to be made, when the sheets need to be done, when I'm not trying to put you in 1904 here, right? And make you barefoot and pregnant, but no one's more of a feminist than me. But I'm just saying that if you do have children and everything, they have to be a priority. They come first, and your husband comes first, right? So if you're just laying around watching, I don't even own a TV in this house, so I can't tell you what. Wendy Williams, my mom watches her. You know, did her husband leave her or something? Maybe she was just focusing too much on work. So there's a fine balance, but where it clears up and where it comes in, and what is most important in these dynamics is communication. Communication, communication, communication. Communicating. I love that we have more likes than people in here now. Communicating clearly and effectively about our needs in every capacity, from the bedroom to the wallet. Very important, because men often create this dynamic. And I saw it clearly when I moved to California. You know, you guys, I've been engaged 3 times, and the first time it was very, very equal. And the other 2 times, it just wasn't, you know, I mean, the first, it was like it just wasn't. And so let's undo these ancestral lines of karma that have been created in our life, these codependent dynamics that we've seen and we've taken on. And I'll tell you what, if you do have ancestors, say your mom or your dad or your sister or your brother, that see you undo these ancestral lines of repetitiveness, they'll be really proud of you and they'll support you along the way. So change starts here and here. And in order to open this up, we have to be clear-headed. And in order to be clear-headed, we have to have our money straight. We have to have our life together. And even if you're starting from the bottom, so did I. I started over twice in my life. And so thanks for helping me start over, you guys. Really appreciate you. Hey, Brandy, love you. Okay, you guys, I'm going to put the links to purchase in the description box below. Very valuable, and I think it's and it will go fast. I think I'm going to take, because this is more of a class, I'm going to take 35 of you, and that's it. 35, and that's it. So 35, mostly women. I think this is going to be for women. Men can watch it too. Men will probably learn from it too, but 35 of you women, and when the 35th person purchases, I'm closing it down. I'll just leave it up for those women. You'll be able to download this, and it'll stay up for you for the remainder of time. But 35 of you, that's it. Because I want this to be something that you guys listen to and think, that is for me. Like, I'm doing this. That's for me. That's it. Okay? All right, you guys, lots of love. Check the links in 2 minutes. Okay, be well. Bye-bye.